Hmm. Ah. Hmm. I haven't started yet. Come back later. Yeah, I swear the people on YouTube are so random. Who threw you guys in here? I don't understand. YouTube has like no sense of direction, no order when it comes to live stream. It's like they're just throwing shit against the wall just to see what sticks. That's crazy. Man, don't make me regret pivoting. 找。Mm-hmm. Let me help you. Let me help you, ignorant ass. All right, let's get started. I need to straighten up this stand right here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? Let's see. Who we got? L. L. I don't remember if this is L from before L. Good morning, Maria. 1-2 Lakers. Hey, Wu Dao. Yeah, I came back yesterday actually. I haven't been on for a really long time. Came back yesterday from my trip, and I live streamed yesterday with the jet lag and everything. It sucked. If you want to know like where I went and what I was doing and things like that, you should probably check my replay. You can check the replay from yesterday, so I don't need to go over it again. But long story short, we did like Germany, Amsterdam, and France. So that was that. And the long story short, Germany was good. Amsterdam, really cold and wet, nothing really to do. And France was pretty crappy. I mean, Paris in particular, but the food was good. That's their only saving grace of the French is their food. And maybe their wine, but I'm not even sure about that. Good morning, Reginald. Limit. I should change my name to Limit since so many people use Limit. What's up, dude? All right, let's get started. Let's get started. So yesterday we talked a little bit about value or adding value and what that means when you have certain clients. Like it doesn't really matter if it's a client or if it's a manager or a boss or someone you know or a partner. The point is your client or your customer being someone who's giving you something or paying you in some way and is expecting something back in return, right? And so the idea is basically when you do things a certain way, or when you think about things a certain way, it always ends in success. Now, I don't know if that's true. Like, you can be the most unlucky person in the world and it just doesn't end in success no matter what. So that depends, right? But the idea is as long as you have the mindset that you're trying to give more value to a person than they are putting in terms of like payment, then sooner or later it will lead to success. So let's put it like this. If I'm going to be paying for some courses. Let's say I'm going to practice. I'm not going to say French because screw that. Let's say I'm trying to learn German, right? And I pay like $500 for a course to learn German, or for some lessons, one-on-one lessons to learn German. Then, if you are the teacher, or if you are the salesperson, your goal should be that for those $500, I'm able to get the value of 1,000, 2,000, or more. Like there is a significant amount of value or savings that occur because of that transaction, not just valued at 500. That was cute. I think it's Glutenhof, but I don't really know. I was only there for like a week. Hey, oh my goodness. Dude, it's been like a month since I really used Chinese. Liu Wei? Oh my God, I can't remember. How do I say your name? I think it's Liu Wei, but I don't remember. Oh man, it's been so long. Yeah, for sure. Learning online can be free. So here's the thing. I would say that I also operate on similar values. Similar values. Okay, let me change that because it gets confusing. I also operate on similar principles of giving more value than I can receive, right? Or that you are paying. So I give you an example. If you're watching my live stream, right? You don't pay anything, it's free, but you are still paying with your time, right? Your time and your attention does have value. There is a cost to that because when you spend your 1 hour in the morning here listening to me, you can also spend that 1 hour somewhere else, right? So the idea is even if you're not paying in terms of cash, you are still paying with, let's say, your attention, right? Attention economy. So my goal needs to be that within that hour of time, I can give you more value or more useful information than you would receive otherwise with that hour of time. Good morning. Hey Brian, good morning, man. Oh, you're in Germany now. When when I left Germany, it was snowing. I'm not sure if it's still snowing now, though. Good morning. Is that I Ching Ching? I forgot. I forgot. I'm gonna need help remembering names, guys. It's been a while since I've seen your names. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I had a very short video on my channel when it started snowing that I shot over there. That's one thing I would say I really appreciate is how peaceful and calm it is. Super, super peaceful, super beautiful place. Yeah. So, moving on. Today, I titled the stream Plan to Fail with a question mark. So there's a saying that I've been running into a couple times now, and I guess it's standing out to me because I've seen it several times within a certain time frame. And the saying goes, if you if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Feel free to type that out so I can pin it up. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So let's think about it. Let's think about it for a moment. Let's marinate in that and let me know what you think it means. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Let me get my pen. I need to make a note about this. I plan to pray. Let's see. Okay, so fail to plan. Yes, this topic. Okay. So what it means is let's lay it out so it makes more sense, right? If you have a goal, that's something that you're trying to achieve, something you're trying to accomplish, right? Let's pick a goal. Let's pick a something, anything. It really doesn't matter. Hey, Terry, that was really good. I like that. So Terry says, if you plan nothing, then you are likely to fail. That's really good. I like that. Good. The importance of planning. That's a good way of putting it, Nick. You have to attempt it once. Okay. Okay, not bad, not bad. Pretty good responses. So the idea is this, and I'm going to connect it to something else so it makes more sense. If you have a goal, no matter what your goal is, let's say, for example, your goal is to become a chef. Very simple, right? Your goal is to become a chef, not a cook, a chef. But you never create a plan of action. You never sat down, did some homework, did some research, tried to understand how can you make this goal of yours or this dream come true, right? You just know that you want to be a chef. So the idea is you might have this goal, but you've never created a plan. So if you never create a plan, then your plan is to fail at that goal. Simple as that. Because all you do is you have this idea of what you want, to accomplish, of what it is you want to achieve, what you want to do, this dream, right? But you've never created a path. You never laid it out and said, okay, here are some ways that I can get to this goal. Here are some things that I can do to get closer to achieving that, right? So in this situation, because you've never made a plan, then you almost are guaranteed to fail. Okay, so Rose says, sometimes we want to win. Rose, we always want to win. But our behavior seems to make us fail. We must manage our attention. Okay, not bad. Okay, Eminem says sometimes no plan is the best plan. You'll meet something that you didn't think. I understand that idea, that sentiment, but I would say the vast majority of people that have no plan to achieve whatever it is they're trying to do, they're going to fail at that thing. Almost guaranteed. Yeah, you might get lucky. You might get lucky, but I don't think that we should base our lives and our achievements on luck. Just my idea. So, why is it that this saying or this idea has sort of ran in my head the last couple days? It's because I was thinking about the concept of like thinking to create. So the word for this is actually called like manifestation. To manifest something. So you can help me manifestation. You can help me write it out so I can pin it since I can't use the keyboard on my side. So it's a manifestation. Manifestation. So again, manifestation. So the idea of thinking something to create it or to make it happen, we call this like manifesting or manifestation, manifesting stuff. Now, you don't really need to think about it as something magical or something supernatural because it's not. It's really, really not. The idea of manifesting is just that your attention is on a particular thing. Your attention is on something. And because your attention is sitting on that thing, you find ways to get to it. You find ways to reach it. So that's, in my opinion, anyway, that's how manifestation works. It's not magic, it's not voodoo, it's nothing like that. It's just that your mind is actively creating and projecting this idea, this concept, and then sooner or later you run into it. So there's a lot of people, like very successful people, say Ray Dalio or Benjamin Graham, for example, that these guys wholeheartedly believe in the idea of thinking to create or manifesting something into reality. So let's say if my dream or my goal is to become a singer or to be paid to sing, let's say that, right? If I think about this every single day and I plan around it, I say, okay, what are some ways that I can get closer to this goal? What are some things that I can do? Where am I today? How can I be better? What are some easy or simple ways that I can get paid to sing or to play music, right? And I make a plan around this idea. I look at it every day, I refine it every day, and every day I take some small steps, at least some small steps, to get closer to that goal. So, what are some small steps that we can take? Easy. Either you're practicing every day, right? You're learning new songs, you are doing vocal training, vocal exercises, vocal warm ups. You can simply go online and join like karaoke groups, or you can upload videos of yourself singing and practicing and trying to improve day after day after day. But the point is, because you are actively thinking about it and you are actively planning around this idea, sooner or later, you actually will find success. You're able to manifest your success, if that makes sense. So, this is why when we talk about the idea of if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, it is absolutely true. Because if we believe in how manifestation works, right? If we believe in this, then your mind is focused on a goal or a desire, but no plan, no idea of how to reach it. So you are actively manifesting having no plan and no idea and no way to reach it. Let me know what you think. Let's see. I'm gonna catch up with the comments real quick. Wonderful. Try not to spam the chat too much, my friend. I appreciate it, but still. So, as we move on, I do want you guys to sort of keep this in mind, this idea of manifestation and failing to plan results in a plan to fail, right? But we're going to touch again on the talking points from yesterday, where we were talking about value or adding value, okay? Because actually, we only got to the beginning of that section. All right, let's see here. Let's go back to the value. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so the first talking point we went through was value beyond the price. Success comes when you focus on giving more value than the client expects. I gave an example about setting expectations in combination with this talking point. The expectation being like this. You have a client that orders some shoes, and you tell the client, okay, your shoes will arrive between 7 to 10 business days. But actually, you made sure that their shoes arrive within 2 days. So, of course, when the client receives the shoes, they're going to be very happy. They're going to be like, oh, this is awesome, because their expectation was to wait a week or longer, but you actually delivered the product within 2 days. So you set the expectation and you surpassed it. Now, the opposite is also true, right? The opposite is true because if you tell your client, okay, I can deliver to you within 2 days, 1 to 2 days, but actually you end up delivering after 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, then of course, naturally, the client is going to be disappointed because a certain expectation was set, but it was not met. All right, next talking point. Problem-solving mindset. View yourself as a problem solver, not just someone selling a product or service. Very good. So I gave an example for this one where we had a meeting. It wasn't a meeting. It was more like a lecture, I guess, with an executive from Goldman Sachs. And one of the things that he said that stood out was to be a white blood cell. Be a white blood cell. And what is it that white blood cells do that the red blood cells don't do, right? Red blood cells are very mechanical. They have certain steps that they need to follow, and they follow those steps through and through. Their job is important, but again, it's very mechanical, set and forget. Whereas the white blood cells, they actively look out for the problems in the system, the viruses, the bacteria that are causing issues that can harm you, right? And they go after that problem and they solve that problem or they get rid of the problem. So the idea is be a white blood cell. Don't just be mechanical about your client's needs. It's not just that your client needs a pair of shoes. There's a reason why your client needs a certain pair of shoes, and try to understand what that reason is. Try to understand what is the underlying problem or issue or desire that your client is facing and address that instead of just, well, my client needs new shoes. I hope so, BB. I hope so. So BB says, we always set a buffer time for delivery. Yeah. That would be a better way of doing it for sure. Excuse me. All right, let's go to the next talking point. So, new talking point. Long-term relationships. Building trust through value leads to repeat business and referrals. I think that should be pretty self-explanatory, but let's get into it. When you are able to surpass a client's expectations in terms of what it is you're delivering, in terms of the value that you are giving them, then what ends up happening is that they end up being repeat clients. Usually, they'll end up being repeat clients. You start building a relationship with them. You start building trust with that client. So, this can lead to many things, right? You can get either more orders from the same clients, more projects, or you can also get referrals, which is also great. So the idea is, from the very beginning, you want to make sure that you are giving as much value as possible to your client or to your customer, whatever that means to you, right? From the beginning, especially if this is a desirable client. So I do have this rule, guys. You probably already know this, of course, is that I don't take everyone as a client, right? I interview my clients. I interview my potential customers, my leads, and I will decide whether or not this is a person that I want as a client, as a customer, regardless of how much money they're willing to pay. I don't just consult a person to consult them to get money. I want to make sure that we are compatible, right? That I understand what their problem is and that I have the tools, the resources, or the knowledge to be able to help this person, to be able to provide some sort of service. Not only to provide service, but to be able to exceed whatever their expectations are. This actually will set you up for success, for sure. But there's also the idea of some people, some clients can be very problematic, can be very needy, and their expectations are far, far, far beyond what is reasonable for what they're willing to pay, for example. So with these kind of guys, with these kind of clients, I will just not take them on at all. I will reject them from the onset. Because there's nothing good that's going to come from that. You can end up with your reputation being ruined. You can end up with obviously a dissatisfied customer, which had unrealistic expectations. So it's just better to pass them on, let somebody else take it, and just focus on your target client, your persona that you're going after. All right, let's see. Next bit. There is some construction going on outside. So if you guys hear some banging and hammering, is the road work. Okay, I already addressed this. So this talking point is over delivering. Consistently exceed expectations to stand out. So like the example that I gave about setting the 7-day delivery time, but actually delivering in 2. So whatever the expectation is, sometimes it's delivery, sometimes is the size or the capacity of what it is you're expected to deliver. There's many different ways that you can look at it and be able to exceed whatever your client's expectations are, for sure, for sure. Of course, it's going to vary with industry and with field. So you have to look at your own and then address it accordingly. Okay, let's see the next one. Service mentality. Focus on service first, and financial rewards will follow naturally. I think this one's pretty hard to explain, but it does work out in the long run. So the idea is, if you are focused on just making money or on just getting the sale, then your mind is too preoccupied to spot the problems with your service or with your product. So again, I don't think it is a matter of morality or being selfish or being ethical or anything like that. I don't think that's what it is. But I think what it is that if you are only focused on making money and you're only focused on the numbers, then it will distract you so much so that you're going to miss some things. You're going to miss obvious problems, obvious mistakes that need to be figured out. So I would say, if for no other reason, this is probably one of the best reasons to make sure that you are focused on service. You are focused on the delivery. You are focused on trying to do the best work that you can do for your client so that you aren't distracted just by looking at, oh, how much money you can make or what the sale is going to be, right? Don't allow the sale to distract you and then end up delivering bad service. Thoughts? All right, let's look at the next one. Continuous improvement. Keep enhancing your skills to provide greater value over time. I think that's a pretty good one. That's a really good talking point. So, in this talking point, I would say, I don't know the real number, right? But I would say the majority of people, once they get into a business or an industry or providing a certain service, they become sort of complacent with how they do that job, how they do the work. There's a minority of people that are always looking for different ways to become better, to improve on whatever it is they're delivering, either improving the product or improving the service. And this is really, really important. It's very important that we're always trying to improve, that we're always trying to give a better result, a better product, or provide better service. Why? Because as time goes on, it's as sure as the sun is going to rise, kind of thing. As time goes on, you're going to have more competition. There will be more and more competitions. There are going to be more newcomers entering the field, whatever field it is that you're in. And what ends up happening is that if you become complacent, you end up getting left behind and you lose client, or you lose market share, you lose exposure to those newcomers, or you lose to old competition that just tried something new. So I would say, at the very least, for this reason, it's important to make sure you are always learning, you are always improving, and you're always sort of thriving to provide a better product, provide better service, or better value. That makes more sense. Provide better value overall so that you stay relevant and you can maintain or even increase your market share if possible. All right, let's see. So next one, listening and customization. Understand clients' unique needs to tailor your services accordingly. I think that there's another way to sort of address that. One way that I like to deal with that sort of talking point, is that I create a sort of profile or persona for my client. And I said, okay, who is my ideal client? Who is my ideal customer? What do they look like? How old are they? What are their habits? What are their likes, their dislikes? How do they usually spend their time? Like, you create this sort of imaginary customer, this person that may or may not exist in real life. And then you're like, okay, this is my ideal client. This is who they are. And then once you have your ideal client, you start working on the product or the services to address the needs of that ideal persona, that ideal avatar of who it is you're trying to reach, or who it is you are trying to target, right? Because the problem is, when you just put the product out there, or you put your services out there, but you don't have a sort of image in your head of who your client is, then you're just trying to get anybody and everybody. And there's another really good saying that goes with that. There's a good saying that goes with that. It's like when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, right? So creating this profile or this avatar, it allows you to narrow it down and be able to sort of pinpoint who your client is and provide the best product or the best service for that specific kind of person, which is the person that you want, of course. That's why we create the profile. I think, you know what? I think it would be a good idea. Not today. Oh, hey, dude, welcome back. Not today, but I think it would be a good idea for us to go through like a profile or client avatar creation exercise, sort of like that, where we can create our ideal client together and see what that process is like. What do you guys think? I mean, if you think it's a good idea, then I will prepare it for next time or the time after. I'll prepare for this week. Because a lot of this sounds good in theory, but maybe you don't have any idea of actually how to do it. So if you guys want to go over it together, then we can do that. All right, let's get to the next one. So, personal branding, a reputation built on delivering exceptional value is a long-term success asset. I gotta read that one again. Personal branding, a reputation built on delivering exceptional value is a long-term success asset. So the idea for that talking point is that if you are focused on delivering super high value and making your personal brand one that focuses on quality or one that focuses on high level service, success, results, etc., then that personal brand in itself, that ends up being your asset. That becomes part of what makes your company valuable and what attracts people to subscribe to you, let's say. Sort of, Bless, sort of. So what I was talking about there is not about setting expectation. It's more about designing your ideal person, the person that you want to work for. Even if you're the boss of your own company, you are always working for someone, your customer, your client. So the idea is to design a person, an avatar of the ideal customer, the customer that you want, who they are, and then building your product or building your services around that avatar. But I think what I'll do is I'll prepare like an exercise for us to do for this week where we design our ideal client avatar or profile, and we can go through it together. Okay, let's see. Next one, creating emotional impact. People remember how you made them feel, not just what they bought. I think, oh man, that's funny. I think that's one of the really cool things is that when it comes to a product or a service, it does become more about the feelings, not the product itself. So when you are, no matter what it is you're selling, even the most mundane things, you could be selling paper, right? But the idea is, if you can make the clients feel something, then they will remember you because you made them feel something. Hopefully something good, something positive, not something bad. So One thing that a lot of successful brands will do is that they tie their brand or their product to an emotion, to a story. So let's use Nike, for example. You guys know Nike, right? Nike. So have you ever seen a Nike commercial that is focused on shoes? Because we all know what Nike does, right? What does Nike do? Or some of you might say Nike. But what does Nike do? They sell shoes, right? They sell sports shoes, they sell athletic shoes. But let me ask you the question again. Have you seen a Nike commercial that is focused on showing you shoes? The commercial's just showing you the shoes and it's telling you about the features and it's telling you about the quality and the price. Have you ever seen a Nike commercial like that? Feel free to answer yes or no. And also, if you have seen a Nike commercial, tell me a brief description of what did you see in the Nike commercial. Good morning, Pie. I need to go get some more water soon. Okay, so think about the Nike commercial thing. I'm gonna go ahead and put my shameless plug in here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this live stream, if you feel like you are learning something or just enjoying the conversation, please make sure to hit the follow button. 关注一下，谢谢你们. And thank you to everybody who sent the gifts. 谢谢送礼物的朋友，谢谢送爱心的朋友们. So yesterday, I actually was trying to buy a camera so I can do like a much better quality stream on the video side. But unfortunately, the camera that I wanted, it only has a few language settings, and English is not one of those language settings, which sucks. I might speak Chinese well enough, but I don't read Chinese well enough to use a camera just in Chinese. So unfortunately, I couldn't buy it, but hopefully I'll find an alternative where I can get like an international version later. All right, let's see. They forces. What does that mean, Happy? Just do it. Yeah, Amy. They force a lifestyle? Interesting. Okay. So, even though Nike's main product is shoes, right? Athletic shoes, sports shoes, they don't focus on the shoes. If you guys look at almost any Nike commercial, you see that they focus on what? They focus on different athletes. They focus on people running or people competing. And their commercials are usually like black and white, often black and white. The feeling of the commercial is really intense. It's like high pressure, high risk, but high reward. They do a lot of close-ups of the athletes, like pushing through, running, jumping, doing all these movements and all these motions. But it's not just about them doing exercise. It's about the feeling behind it, right? The voiceover that they use, maybe the background music that they use, the sound effects, the visuals. Everything inside of a Nike commercial is designed to make you feel something. It's designed to inspire you. It's designed to make you feel like you can do anything. Like you need to get up and you need to start doing something. You need to activate yourself. So this is the way that Nike commercials are designed to make you feel something. And we know the slogan for Nike is just do it, right? The slogan for Nike is not just buy it, because that would be useless. So this is the idea, is like, regardless of the product or the service, if you can get your customer or your potential customer to feel something, when they are exposed to your brand, then they will remember it, because they will remember that they felt something when they saw your commercial, or they felt something when they heard your story, or they talked to your representative, so on and so forth. So the idea is make your customers feel something. Don't just focus on selling the product. Don't just focus on selling the service, because there's a lot more to it. If they can feel, they can buy. All right, I'm gonna catch up with the comments. 1 second. So no, I'm not talking about the translation in the WeChat, John. I'm talking about the camera, because it's like a Sony camera. The settings inside the camera itself don't have English. And because they're inside of a camera, not a smartphone, they also don't have translation. Oh, that's good. I'm happy you understand what I'm saying, Happy. Yeah, very good. Right, right. You can feel, then you can buy. Nice. Yes, Lisa. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, shameless plug once again. So, my name is Comet. For those guys who don't know me, if you're new here, actually, I do business consulting, but when I live stream, I mostly focus on personal development. So, if you actually want to contact me or message me directly, feel free to add me on WeChat. My WeChat ID is the same as my channel name, Comet Live, KOMITLIVE. So if you have any questions about personal development or business consulting, you can talk to me there, and I'm happy to help you with anything. Just give me a shout. And besides that, let's see. We do only the audio podcast format on WeChat, and then we do video on YouTube. But frankly, if if you're okay with just using the audio, it's okay. Just use WeChat. But for some reason, if you need sort of visual representation of the things that you're hearing, or just me existing on video, I'm also doing the live stream at the same time on video on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's carry on. Let's see. Mr. Black says Nike, like lots of luxury, might be different from the differentiation from the product marketing wise. Okay, yes. Yes, they have to focus on storytelling, image, etc. Yeah, so the thing is like when you have two brands or two companies that the price point is very similar or the same, and the quality is more or less the same as well, you do need to find a way to differentiate yourself from other companies or other brands. How do you do that? Well, you can do that with a story. You can do that with branding. You can do that with how you make the customer feel when they are exposed to your brand. That is one sure way to stand out. You can't just always focus on the product or always focus on the service itself if that is something that is easily replicated by your competition. So using your story, using your background is also a very good way of going about it. But I think that's pretty interesting. Mr. Black has pointed out something interesting is that the companies that focus more on the storytelling and on the branding are usually either luxury companies, like luxury brands, or brands that have like a middle high price point. That is very true. Good morning. All right, let me grab some more water, guys, because I ran out of water and I'm gonna be dealing with dry throat syndrome for a while. So I'm gonna go grab some water. Hang tight. I'll be right back. We'll be back after these messages. left my cup. Oh, yeah. Okay. We are back. Dancing? What? Okay, let's see. Let's catch up with the chat. Wow, we got a lot of likes today. We have almost 7,000 likes. Oof. You guys been busy. Ooh, that's really good, Romney. So Romneycom says, embracing the notion of uniqueness. Let me turn off the music. Embracing the notion of uniqueness and carving your own path amount to a smart business strategy. Very nice. Yes, it's like you let the product speak for itself and you focus more on the branding and the story. Well, we don't get into the politics of things here, but I guess that's interesting. Okay, let's continue. Oh, I have some nougat from France. It's so delicious. Now let's see. See if we got some real life examples here. Hopefully they make sense. So the first one, Steve Jobs. So when it came to Apple and Steve Jobs, they focused on creating products that provided unmatched user experience and design, making Apple a global success. Guys, I know that I might lose half of you for saying this, but iPhones suck. I gotta tell you, just in general, depending on who you are, iPhones suck. But you know what they do right is branding. They do really, really good branding. They've done it so well that they made owning an iPhone a status symbol. It's insane. At least to me, it's insane. The biggest quality from any Apple product, especially an iPhone, like the most important thing that they have is branding, because they don't have the best quality. If we say iPhones have the best quality, we know that's not true. They don't have the best interface. That's also not true, right? They don't have the best durability. They are also not the most innovative. They used to be, They used to be. They really, really were before when Steve Jobs was in charge, yes. But they're not the most innovative. They don't have the highest quality. They're not the cheapest. They don't have anything that we can point at and say, like, oh, this is the best thing about an iPhone. This is why. They don't even have the best camera. So iPhone's cameras are supplied by Samsung at this point, which is hilarious to me. But what is it that they have? What they have is branding. Absolutely branding. So when it comes to these iPhones, it doesn't really matter if it's an iPhone or a Mac or whatever. It's that Apple has placed themselves in a position of power of like supposedly setting market trends. That used to be back in the day. They don't do that anymore. They used to set market trends and they used to be a status symbol. Even today, of course, iPhones are still looked at as a sort of status symbol. But I'm pretty sure that's going to go away within the next 5 years or so. But it is what it is. And the whole the whole idea of when you receive an iPhone, for example, or a MacBook, opening it, just getting it out of the box is an experience in itself, right? It's not just a box filled with a bunch of paper and filler or whatever. They made sure to design the product and the boxing and the whole experience of you receiving that product to feel significant, to feel different, unlike any other product that you would buy. And so this is what most other, let's say, smartphones or gadget providers don't really do so well. There are others, like if you look at the high-end market, the luxury markets, they do this very well, yes, but their price point is exceptionally high. So they're not for like the typical user. It's not for mass production like an iPhone is. So when you look at that, just like Nike, when you look at the iPhone, it's the same. It's a matter of having that experience, having that personification of the brand that other brands are not able to do. You know, one thing that really you can point at when you're looking at like the iPhone series, for example, is that regardless of which brand or which company you are comparing it to, the iPhones and the iOS system only works with one company, right? One company, one network, one ecosystem. Apple products, iOS. There is no flexibility. There's no flexibility. There's no customizability. It's very, very limited. But it works. It works and it works really well. And if you look at the most prominent competitor in terms of like the operating systems are like Androids, and the dominance of the Android is going to be Samsung, right? For every iPhone that Apple releases, Samsung releases maybe 10, maybe 15 phones. Okay? And for every iPhone that Apple releases, there is a huge number of companies and brands that have released anything from 50 to 100 different phones in the Android ecosystem. So when you look at an iPhone or you look at an Apple product, you do have this distinction that it is sort of, it's really not unique, but it is limited to just the iOS, to just the Apple ecosystem, and that other companies or other brands cannot cross over. So in a way, it sort of gives a sensation or a feeling of exclusivity. But we all know that there's nothing exclusive at all about an iPhone. But that's not the point. The point is that it feels like there is. It feels like there is. Okay? Personal branding, getting the feeling of something being premium or something being innovative or so on and so forth. That's all it is. That's all that Apple has actually done. And it works. Because if you look at it, Apple's quite literally the most valuable company in the world, commercially speaking. So it does work. It's a strong highlight into why personal branding is so important, why invoking feelings in your customers are so important. I'm sure you guys can tell whenever you talk about an iPhone, if you don't talk about it positively, a lot of people get triggered and they feel so offended. But the reason that happens is because Apple has done such a good job at personifying, or I don't know if I want to say even personifying, but making it a sort of cult following to their brand and to their products, that people feel close to them and feel tied to them. And frankly speaking, that is how you should do it. That is how personal branding works. You do have to make people feel something that brings loyalty to the brand, because that loyalty is what's going to bring success long term. Let me help this guy out. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, stay hungry, stay foolish. Yeah, Steve Jobs was something else. Awesome dude. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 8:50, so we are going to conclude here. Let me see. Mr. Black. Nike is more on image marketing, product wise. I don't think our basket team can perform better with Nike shoes. I agree with you, Mr. Black. So this is the same thing like what I was saying about the iPhone. It's the same thing with Nike and Jordan. I don't know, like, if you guys are familiar with it, but especially in the US, in the big cities, like Nike shoes, having like a collection of Nike shoes or collection of Jordans, like that is a normal thing in the States. It's like such a huge thing to get like the newest pair of shoes to the newest brand, or no, not the newest brand, the newest design or the newest color. The designs are all the same. They really don't change much from shoe to shoe, but they have a new color palette or something like that. Or, oh, well, this shoe was designed with this particular basketball player, for example. And people just buy it up. They really, really just buy it up. Even the poorest of people just love buying collections and collections of shoes. It's crazy. But it works. Personal branding, it works. They make people feel like having those shoes makes them somebody. Like having those shoes makes them feel like, well, I'm important and I'm special because I have a fancy pair of Air Jordans. But that's how it works. Personal branding, ladies and gentlemen. So the whole point of that is to be able to highlight how important it is to either push or showcase the story behind your product or the story behind your services. Make people feel something and they will follow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a day. So let's see, today's only Tuesday. So today is Tuesday. We're just at the beginning of the week. So hopefully all things go well and we take it nice and easy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the live stream, please make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you want to contact me about consulting, feel free to add my WeChat directly. The WeChat is the same. The WeChat user ID is the same as the channel name, KOMITLIVE. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for spending this wonderful morning with me. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your workday. Make sure you look at every challenge as an opportunity, a learning opportunity, a way to become better, bigger, faster, stronger. So with that, I will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Once again, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. See you tomorrow. Stay beautiful. Stay amazing. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube.